Welcome back, everybody, to Bracy Sports Media. My name is Aaron Bracy, and I'm thrilled to be joined today by Christ Koumadje, who plays for the Delaware Blue Coats, the G League affiliate of the Philadelphia 76ers. Chris, thanks so much for joining us here today on Bracy Sports Media.
Oh, yeah, thank you. My pleasure.
Chris, you had a breakout season for the Blue Coats this year. You set a franchise record with 133 blocks in just 33 games. You averaged a double-double with 11.3 points and 10.9 rebounds. Just put up amazing numbers in your first season there with the Blue Coats. How did you manage to have such a good season? What was the key to your success this year?
I think, it was the preseason, like the off season, like the work I put in, just like I didn't know what I was going into. So I just try to work as hard, just push myself to my limit and just, I had high expectations, for myself. And then I went to the season, just, play as hard as I can. And, everything just paid off.
Chris, you got a chance last summer to play with the 76ers in the Summer League. And also you were with them in training camp. How did those experiences help you going into your first season with the Blue Coats?
Yeah, it helped me a lot because in Summer League, it was just like my first time playing with those guys. I played with the system last year. So, I was learning the plays, learning how to play with those guys. And, I kind of, I had a feeling that I fit in the system pretty well. And it was good that, I got a chance to go to camp and, play against those, players, more experienced guys, get a close look, how, like an NBA camp look like. And, I learned a lot from those, those moments.
And one of the things that you can't tell from this video and from people who haven't seen you play is you're 7'3", but
yeah.
You don't quite play like 7'3". So I'm going to play amateur scout. I'm not a scout, but I've watched a lot of NBA games. And here's what I see on the tape when I watch you. Tell me about this. I see a weapon in the high pick and roll. You set screens and roll the basket, and with that guard covering you on the mismatch when you roll the basket, and you're so athletic getting to the rim from the high pick and roll. What is the key to playing in the high pick and roll, and is that a strength of yours the way I'm seeing it on tape?
I think one of the key things as a big man, like my size, as far as being mobile and playing in the, in the NBA, you just got to be mobile. You got to be, fast-paced. And I think that's something I got from playing soccer. I was always mobile, like even growing up, I always, I was playing sports, not basketball, but, I ran track for a minute. I did a bunch of, I tried a bunch of sports before basketball. So I think that's just something that I got from just moving around, playing soccer, all that.
And one of the things I noticed on the tape is one of the keys to being able to block shots so well, from what I'm seeing, is your ability to move your feet laterally to contest shots. Talk about your footwork and how important that is. Obviously, you have the reach to cover up some ground as well. But how important when you're trying to block shots is footwork, and what are some of the keys to your success for blocking shots?
First of all, I would say timing and also just being patient, because sometimes, you're so excited and eager to block the shot and you lose your discipline. You jump before the guy, the scorer will try to score, so you get fouled and stuff like that. So I have to work on my timing, just being vertical, keeping my hands straight up. And sometimes you don't even try to block it, but, you just stay long and then, the ball just comes to your hand,
One of the things that was impressive is in college, your last year at Florida State, your averages were about half of what you are averaging with the Blue Coats. Normally, you don't see players come into professional basketball and double their output from college to pro. Normally, you might see it the other way. What has been the key to really making you able to do that, being so successful professionally?
I would say it's the opportunity. I put in work and I got the opportunity to just, showcase my talent. In college, the style that we were playing was a bit different, where we had, 5 guys in, 5 guys out. We were rotating. Everybody played, till the last guy on the bench. So that was our style of playing. The coaches preached the strength of our depth. So that's how the coaches wanted us to play, just like everybody was playing. We have to be in the best shape we could, and it was just how we played. But, I think this year was a bit different, where the Blue Coats play with a shot blocker. They try to play with like a 7-footer, mobile 7-footers who can move and block shots. And the opportunity was just, was at the right time.
One of the other things I'm trying to figure out from college is Florida State listed you at 7'4", and the Blue Coats are listing you at 7'3". Did you shrink an inch, or is that accurate?
I think in college I had a little bit of hair, and you know, when they measured me in the camp, you know, they did the measurement with no shoes on,
Gotcha.
and with no shoes I was 7'3",
Gotcha.
with no shoes. Yeah.
Christ Koumadje joining us here on Bracy Sports Media. Chris, I want to talk about you coming to the United States in 2013. You hadn't played much basketball at that point, but you went right to an elite high school, Mount Verdi Academy in Florida, and played for Coach Kevin Boyle, who I actually covered when he was at St. Patrick, New Jersey. Very intense coach. What was it like playing for Coach Boyle and Mount Verdi when you came to Florida?
Yeah, I mean, that was my first year really playing organized basketball, so everything was just moving so fast. Like, I remember those days, like, practice was just, it was not fun for me because I would come in and every day I would just be exposed, you know, like my flaws. I wasn't at the same level with everybody, you know. So all I would do is just, you know, run, block, shot, but, you know, I had to learn a lot. And just being in practice with those, you know, those high D1 prospects at the time, you just compete every day, you know, Coach Boyle knowing what he knows in the game helps, you know, just help everybody.
Well, it didn't help when you're just trying to learn basketball when you were playing with guys like D'Angelo Russell and a guy that people around here know, 76ers point guard Ben Simmons. For people who don't know, what was it like playing with Ben in high school and both on and off the court? What was it like?
No, it was fun playing with him. Like, especially my first year, I remember I came in with one of my friends from Congo, and we didn't have, like, you know, normal basketball shoes. So Ben hooked us up with a couple of shoes. At that time, I was wearing 16. So yeah, that was clutch when we came in. And also just playing with him on the court, you always find the big man, like in the pick and roll, stuff like that. You always had that core vision. So it was fun playing on and off the court, you know.
And how did Ben help you in training camp this past fall with the 76ers? I'm guessing that kind of gave you a bit of a comfort level having played with him before. How did he help you in training camp?
No, he just tried to give me a little bit of heads up of, like, you know, stuff, you know, because some stuff coming at you fast, you know, like the plays, everything was fast-paced, you know. So he kind of, like, you know, just give me like a heads up.
Christ Koumadje joining us here on Bracy Sports Media. Chris, we talked a little bit about this before, but basketball wasn't your first sport. Soccer was your first sport, the national sport of Chad. And can you talk about what that was like growing up playing soccer? Did you play organized soccer, just play kind of out in the streets with your friends? What was it like for you growing up playing soccer?
Yeah, I just played just like, you know, with every other kids in the neighborhood, played outside, after school, at school. And even for my team at school, like, you know, we had like a team where we play against other high schools. And I mean, that was the only organized soccer that we did, you know. We practiced, we had a coach, but I didn't play that much organized soccer. It was just playing outside and, you know, after school with friends.
You mentioned it a little bit before, but how much did playing soccer, or how did it help you, you know, with your NBA, with your basketball game?
Yeah, just, you know, just being mobile, being agile, because, you know, playing soccer, you need to, like, move those feet. I played a lot of goalie also, so I had to, like, you know, move laterally to, like, you know, save goals and stuff like that. So that definitely translates to basketball.
I have a tough question for you. Did you ever get one of these? You know what that is?
Yeah. I got a red one.
Even worse.
I had a red one.
What happened? Tell us what happened.
I think it was just I overreacted.
Oh, that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Christ Koumadje joining us here on Bracy Sports Media. Chris, you grew up in Chad. Having researched Chad, from what I've researched, not necessarily the easiest place for a young man to grow up. For you, what was it like growing up in Chad? And for people in the United States who don't know about Chad, how would you describe growing up in Chad to them compared to what it's like here now that you've been here for 7 years?
I mean, it's just it's a different environment. You know, everything is just different. Like, you know, the lifestyle. You know, it's a third world country. So, you know, hopefully, you know, everything can get better. The political situation also isn't the best. So that's something that we deal with a lot of instability as far as like civil wars and stuff like that. So one of the reasons why I moved to Senegal in 2012 was we had like a little, up, like a situation, like a war going on. So that's why I moved from Chad to Senegal. And, after that, just everything from there, I end up here. I didn't go back to Chad. So, but for everybody that's back, back in Chad, it's a tough situation for a lot of young men who don't have like opportunity to come out here, play basketball, or like get a scholarship, go to college. So that's one of my vision to like, one day go back and like help those kids, tell them, show them how possible it is for them to also make it out.
That's great. And there's never been an NBA player from Chad. If you are to step on the court in an NBA game, you would be the first. I mean, just getting to where you've gotten, I'm sure, is inspiring kids in Chad. But what would that mean to you if you ever do get the opportunity to step on an NBA court and represent your country?
Oh, that would mean a lot. It would mean a lot for me, for my family, for everybody back home. All the kids can just identify themselves through me. The ones that know me, the ones that don't know me. It's like, somebody who they know well, that's made it this far. So it's possible for them in whatever they do.
Now, look to me on the map like Chad and Cameroon actually border each other.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid being from Cameroon, but Joel Embiid is from Yaoundé, which is about 1,000 miles away from where you're from.
Yeah.
Did you ever play against Joel Embiid prior and hear about Joel Embiid? What kind of relationship did you guys have prior to coming to the United States, if any? Did you ever hear of him?
No, I never played him. The first time I heard of him was here when I got to Montverde, because he was at Montverde for 1 or 2 years. So that's when I heard about him. And then I think I met him one time in LA when he was going, getting ready for the draft. I was going to my senior year. But then when I met him in camp, he speak French too. So the bond was easy, where he kind of like just talked to me about like stuff that he went through as an international player. And, it's just kind of like, just normal conversations, it was pretty cool.
How do you think having two African-born players on the same court or on the same roster, how would that help the continent of Africa as far as growing the game of basketball, if that were to happen and you did join Joel on the court with the 76ers?
Oh, that would definitely mean a lot for the kids, for the academies back home, such as the academy that I come from, like Flying Star in Dakar. That's one of the academy that has really, helped a lot of young kids, come here, get a scholarship, and few play at the pro level, and few graduate from college. So that just mean a lot for those kids in the same path as me and a couple other guys came here and made it to the pro level.
Christ Koumadje from the Delaware Blue Coats joining us here on Bracy Sports Media. Chris, you're just kind of relaxing right now. The season was cut short with everything going on. You're back home just relaxing. What has it been like for you? Have you been able to do any kind of work on your game, conditioning? What has it been like for you the last month or so?
I mean, right now, the most I can do is just probably run around the neighborhood. Florida's pretty nice, so run on the trail.
Right.
But I'll try to live at home, like a garage workout. Just pretty much, but nothing really basketball. We have a hoop in the driveway, but that's about it.
What would be the next step for you? The goal, hopefully, obviously, is to make the 76ers. Assuming everything gets back to what we could get as close to normal as can be, I would guess that you would go into a training camp with them for the next season, and then from there, I guess what could possibly make the team or not. But what do you see as your next step to getting to the goal of the NBA?
My next step as like personally, like
professionally.
Professionally.
Yeah.
I mean, my next step is just me just keep getting better, control what I can control. And, the ultimate goal is definitely to play in the NBA, play in the league. So, I just keep working and, making that happen.
All right, Chris, before I let you go, one of the cool things is you mentioned French, but you actually speak multiple languages. You speak French, English, and two of your native languages, Sarah and Gambai.
Gambai, yeah.
Gambai.
Gambai, yeah.
So before we go, I think you're going to tell us how to say basketball in the other three languages that we mentioned. We know basketball in English. And
I don't think that is basketball.
Oh, I'm sorry. We said hello. We're gonna say hello because some of the native languages don't have basketball. How about hello?
Hello. Yeah. We can do that.
All right.
Yeah. Do you want me to start in French?
I'll do it. Let's do English. Say English.
Hello in English.
French. We'll do French.
French is salut.
And Sarah?
Sarah is l'allée.
And Gambé?
Gambé is toi bye.
Well, how can I say thank you in one of your languages to you?
In French you can say merci.
Merci. Chris, it's been a pleasure. Christ Koumadje joining us here on Bracy Sports Media. Definitely check Chris' highlights out on YouTube, on the Blue Coats YouTube site. And 76ers fans, you're going to be excited for what Chris can bring to the court in the future. Chris, wish you all the best of luck, and thank you for joining us so much here on Bracy Sports Media.
Thank you. Appreciate it. My pleasure.